I'm about to say something that might sound really wrong. The hardest, scariest year of my life might be the exact reason I'm not stuck in survival mode anymore. Not because hard things are good, because they're not. But mine forced me to stop in a way no planner, no routine, no hack ever could. And what I found underneath that stillness is the entire reason I'm making this video for you today. Let's rewind, because here's where I am now. Just so you know, this isn't a highlight reel. I still have hard days. I still work full time, I run a side business and raise 2 kids, and I'm a wife too, but I forget things and I lose my patience sometimes. But I don't live in survival mode anymore. When my body starts revving up, I can feel it now, before it completely takes over. And most days, I can bring myself right back down before shutting down or snapping or saying something that maybe I shouldn't have said. And that's the actual difference. Not this perfect, calmer life, but a body that knows how to come back down. Let me show you how I got there. A few years ago, I was the mom that could just not stop moving. At least sometimes just my brain anyway. I had tried everything. The planner, the morning routine, the color-coded calendar, the time blocking, every productivity hack, and every time management hack I can find. And nothing was working. Not because I wasn't trying hard enough, but because I didn't know that yet. I was always rushing out the door, rushing through dinner, rushing through listening to my kids tell me a story that was really important to them, rushing through bedtime so I could finally just sit down. And then when I was sitting there, I was too wired to actually even rest. My body felt like 1,000,000 pounds in the couch. I was exhausted. I couldn't turn my brain off. Even when my body stopped moving, my mind didn't. I'd be sitting on the couch and already mentally just ping-ponging around stuff that happened at work, things that needed to get done at home, things that I should be doing, things that I didn't get done, and the stress and the guilt kept piling on. My kids, they would run up to me the second that I walked to the door after work. And I was there physically with them, right? But I was mentally exhausted in a way that meant I couldn't actually even be there in that moment and really feel that warm welcome that they were trying to give me. Because you know that half listening that you do when your kids are telling you a story and you catch yourself nodding at the wrong part? That was me almost every time I walked in that door. And I told myself I just needed to get more organized, more disciplined, that if I could just find the right system, I'd finally feel calm and could enjoy those moments. I'd lay in bed replaying it. Why can't I just be present? What was wrong with me? Then, in the middle of all of it, working full time, being a wife, 2 kids under 5, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was rare, aggressive, fast moving, and a week later I was in surgery, and a couple days after that, chemo started. Cancer does something strange. It doesn't let you outrun it with a better system. And there is no hack for this. No planner could fix that. And for the first time in my life, I couldn't just push through. I didn't have control, and my body made that decision for me. And while I was prioritizing my health, my mental health was important too. And I had also got an ADHD diagnosis at almost 40. And for a minute, I actually felt really relieved, right? Like finally an explanation, right? It explained a whole lot about why my brain moved the way that it did, why I forgot things, why I felt so scattered, and why sitting still had always been hard. But here's what it didn't explain. It didn't explain why I couldn't rest. Even when I finally felt like I had a quiet moment and I could maybe earned it, right? It didn't explain why my body stayed on high alert long after the day's actual emergencies and urgencies were over. It didn't explain why I was still rushing, even on the days I had nowhere to actually be at a specific time. That wasn't ADHD. That was something else entirely. And chemo made my body so loud in ways that I couldn't ignore anymore. Every flicker of stress, every tightening in my chest, sometimes the guilt heavy on my shoulders, I felt all of it in full volume, so loud, and there was no way to just push it down or push it away. And underneath all of that noise, I finally heard something I had been too busy and too exhausted to notice for years. I didn't have a time problem, and I most certainly didn't have a discipline problem, which is what I thought it was. I never had. I was living in survival mode. My nervous system had been in fight and flight, and it was locked in go mode for so long, it just didn't know how to switch off. And not because I was lazy, and not because I didn't find the right planner, and not because of any diagnosis, because that's exactly what a nervous system stuck in constant urgency does. It doesn't shut off just because you walk through the front door and finally sit down and check something off your list. I kept coming back to this one thought that really grounded me, and I think about it over and over. I cannot fight and beat breast cancer just to die of stress. Not happening. That thought changed everything. Fast forward to today, here's what changed. I stopped trying to manage my calendar and start learning how to manage my nervous system instead. Now, right before I walk through the door after work, I check in with my body before my to-do list. And if I'm still revved up from the day, I take 60, 90 seconds before I do anything else to ground myself. Before dinner, before going through the mail, before any of it. So just last Tuesday, I sat on the family room floor for about 20 minutes helping my daughter with a puzzle. We love puzzles. And it was about 20 minutes of no phone, no mental to-do list running in the background. And 3 years ago, that would never have been possible for me. Not because I didn't love spending time with my kids or being with my kids, and I didn't love them enough, but because my body just wouldn't let me settle into it and enjoy it. My nervous system didn't know how to come down off that go mode. And yes, my brain still jumps around exactly the way it has in the past. That part is never gonna change, but it didn't need to. What changed is that I'm not fighting my whole nervous system on top of it anymore. So here's what I want you to take from this. I don't want you to need a health diagnosis, any kind of cancer scare to end up here. Whatever you've told yourself is the reason this is so hard for you, whether it's not enough discipline or you're too scattered, you're too much overthinking, or you've got too much on your plate, I want you to hold that a little more loosely. I was sure it was a lack of structure, and then I was sure it was my ADHD, and neither one of those were the real answer. Now, the right question was never, what's wrong with me? The right question was always, am I stuck in survival mode? Am I just trying to survive and get through my days? And I couldn't see that until my body forced me to stop. And you don't have to wait for your body to force you. If any part of this is landing, if you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to wait for a health scare or for the time with my kids passing by quickly before I can make this change, I want you at my free live training that I have coming up, okay? It's called Beyond Survival Mode, so that you can show up as the mom you've always wanted to be. And I walk through exactly how this shift happens. Not as an idea, but as something practical that you can start using inside the life you already have. No extra time, no extra energy. And the waitlist to the link is below. Go fill that out and grab your spot, okay? But before you go, I know what some of you are thinking. I don't have a cancer diagnosis. Maybe this doesn't apply to me in the same way. You don't need one, and I hope that you never need one. Mine happened to force me to notice what was already true, what was deep down, what the root cause was. But the thing that was already true, that survival mode, not a lack of discipline, was the reason you're always rushing and can't seem to be present. That's already true for you too, right now, today. You don't need a health scare to be the thing that finally makes you listen to your body. You just need to start listening now. So, if survival mode is the real thing running the show, and you don't need a crisis to start turning it off, what does actually getting out of survival mode look like day to day? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to cover in my next video. It's the complete framework, and it's the one that I normally only walk my clients through one-on-one. So in that video is where it ties this entire series together. I'll link it below and go watch it next.